Welcome to my podcast, Bravo Podcast. Once again, my name is Bravo. On this day, we're going to discuss a very great important topic. Do men experience intimate partner violence? Do men experience intimate partner violence? I know this is a very, very controversial topic, but today I am sure you're going to be learning a lot. Together with me is Agre Nshekanabo, a father, a parent, an entrepreneur, a businessman, and a person with great experience. If you look at his gray, yes, it tells you that he has the experience of the topic that we're going to be talking about. In most cases, most people do not know that men suffer a lot, especially in that part of intimate violence. At the end of the day, men choose to condense it, choose to take it in. Sometimes men choose to behave unexpectedly. Today, both men and women will be learning something great that can improve not only our lives, but also our marriage lives. You're most welcome, Mr. Agre, and it's my pleasure having you here.
Thank you, sir.
It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
When I got here, I'm amazed by what you do at Naria Motel.
Thank you.
And for your information, is the person behind Naria Motel with the partner, Judith Asimwe, whom we hosted some time ago. Would like to hear from you, would like to know who you are, and then we dive into our great topic.
Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Agre Nshekanabo, as he has introduced me. I come from Bunyaruguru, one of the most beautiful parts of Uganda, with 32 crater lakes. We eat a lot of kalo and a lot of fish. Kalo is millet bread. It's where I grew up from. It is next to Queen Elizabeth National Park. And I come from a land of beauty and love. That's where I grew up, from the countryside, with lots of cousins, lots of grandmothers, lots of uncles and aunties. My mother is a Mnyaruguru.
Yeah.
My dad is an immigrant Munyankole in Unyaruguru. And so this is where I grew up from. I went to school in Unyaruguru, in Chirugu Primary School, Rugazi Central School for my primary. And then the inquisitive kid that I were, I could have studied in Unyaruguru, but I always wanted to go further than that and explore what is beyond. You know, Bunyaruguru is sort of a trough, okay? And so I always wondered what was beyond the hills. And when the opportunity arose at secondary level, I had to then go to St. Kabwabushenyi High School. And that was a sweet experience for me as a young man. That is a time of growth.
Yeah.
And then later I went to St. Joseph's Nagarama in Mukono. That is as far as education is concerned. Whatever has happened thereafter is another experience. I ended up in the media.
Yeah.
And wrote for the national newspapers.
Yeah.
And a few international publications, and then went into the NGO sector.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed very much. But while growing up in Bunyaruguru, the first, I think, private entrepreneurs in the tourism sector came to Chambura Game Reserve from Germany and Austria, with a few South Africans. And they took me on at that age. I couldn't, so they were sending me to school while I worked at the lodge.
Yeah.
And I started from the pantry. Then gradually, as I became of age, went into serving. and then later as a tour guide.
Yeah.
And therefore, I grew up in the setting that you see Nalia Motel is.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm living at Nalia Motel my formative life.
Yeah, sure.
And therefore we're trying to recreate what I grew up in.
Yeah.
Just that Nalia Motel is not in the national park.
Yeah.
But this is, so whatever you see us doing here is really going back in memory what it was like to grow at Nsere Lodge.
Yeah.
So we're trying to recreate that. The lodge is no longer there. The investors are no longer there. They went, others died. But really, if you see what I do now,
Yeah.
it's what I did when I was 13 to 19.
Wow.
And therefore, when you're looking, if you're looking at finding yourself, for me, actually, what you see at Nalia Motel and what we do at Chambera Safaris, it is really finding myself, who I were then. So, and briefly, that's me.
Wow.
Well, and coming back to the topic, I do not want the children and my marriage to define me.
Yeah, that's a disclaimer.
That's a disclaimer.
Yeah.
You know, we try to, when you ask people who they are, they begin to tell you they are Mrs. So and so, or I am a husband to so and so.
Yeah.
I do not want the things that have come after to be the ones that define me.
Yeah.
But sweetly, yes, I'm told I am a father of 5 biological children.
Yeah.
And I do not intend to do a DNA to prove if indeed I am the father of those 5.
Yeah.
Okay. But also they are the non-biological, the children we had by choice, and that is Lazaro Segawa. We love him so much. From Rakai, we got him from Rakai. Now he has become part of family. We also got Apio Eunice from Coach Goma in Gulu. And then we become a family of 7 as children. So that's me. As you mentioned earlier, I share a bed with Judith as my spouse, and we share the space at the same time. But at the same time, while we share the same space, we sometimes allow each other to be our individual selves. So I can choose to travel on my own. We've chosen a path where we can. Our relationship, our marriage, does not define
who you are
and conclude us. We are more than the partners that we are. And so each one of us is defined individually. And we've tried to retain our individuality, because sometimes people lose
individuality when they get married. When you talk about individuality, and so many people are actually suffering out there, men, women, when they got married, they have lost their individuality. And that's another topic we're going to add on our topic. So now, when we talk about the intimate violence, intimate violence, what is intimate violence? Do men experience it? And if that happens, how do men go through the intimate violence? But before, our viewers would want to know, what is the intimate partner violence?
Now AI has done it. If you went on internet, you will find all the answers about intimate partner violence. We've always had GBV, gender-based violence. We've had about sexual violence. We've had all the definitions about gender-based violence, sexual gender-based violence, violence against women, violence against children, and maybe violence against men. But
which is
silenced. And so then there is the intimate partner violence. Now this is a monster. when you see families breaking,
Yeah.
when you see children are turning out the way they are turning,
Yeah.
it comes back usually to the violence that is between their parents.
Yeah.
And just maybe to be succinct on what intimate partner violence, this is violence that is either silent, mental, physical, economic, food-wise, that is meted onto one another between the marrieds. And without stretching it really, people are staying together, but they are not together.
So
The
many
marriage,
families.
the marriages broke long time ago. They find themselves in this house. They are staying together. They share a space, and probably they share a history, maybe as parents and what. But the relationship
Is normal.
went down. When we meet them on the streets, they are Mr. and Mrs. Husband and wife.
Even on functions.
On functions, we see them walking with one another. But then the relationship broke down long time ago because there has been violence. And today we talk about do men experience intimate partner violence? Yes, they do. Have I defined the intimate partner violence? It is that from your spouse onto you. It could be from a man to a woman, or from a woman to the man. Now, we've only been hearing about violence against women and children because the women talk about these things.
They're open to speak about it.
And there are spaces.
There are spaces. And for men, we've not been given any space. And we also fear. You see, there is also fear of men coming up to speak about it.
And there is nobody going to give you the space. Probably Bravo is the one who is going to give you the space of a body.
And the person who will give you space will actually give you poison and say, go and fight her.
Yes.
It's a mass, it must happen, you know.
Yes. So we probably need to speak out. As men, I have not experienced, between me and Judith, we haven't experienced intimate partner violence. And probably the experience that probably one would want to hear is if I am going to give a testimony. But at the same time, I'm alive to the fact that that disclosure is, men also suffer from the issue of disclosure. So even when I have suffered from it, my men will be told, don't go and talk about it.
Because it will make you less of a man.
It will make you less of a man. But I am one of those men that if I were experiencing it, I would speak about it. For me, there is no topic under the sun that I fear talking about. Only those that threaten my life or the life of our 7 children, those I will not touch. But yes, when it comes to intimate partner violence, the men indeed experience intimate partner violence coming from their spouses. The women, I will not talk about the women because they have a lot of space to talk about it, and indeed they experience the utmost level of intimate partner violence. But we're also saying, how about the men? Maybe, probably that is why today we're saying, let's also talk about the manifestations of violence onto the men. Yes.
When you talk about that, do you think because now marriage has been so transactional that women use that to manage men? Because being transactional means that if you have not provided this, then I will not give you what you want in the night. We've seen so much of this. Because unless it has turned into transaction, I think this is why men go through that. Because a woman will catch you at that point and says, because you've not done this, then I'm not also able to open up myself to that label. Is it what is causing more of this violence?
You know, the topic in itself is limiting,
Yes.
but we cannot run away from talking about the issue of family.
Yes.
What is the purpose of family?
Yeah.
The purpose of family, from the historically,
Yeah.
really, its purpose is about continuity of life. And if we are to look at it, there was no barren man, whether in the Bible or in the African setting. I don't know about the European setting, but we see their setting trying to impose itself for the last 100 years. It has been trying to impose itself here,
Yeah.
and we find it not in tandem
Yeah.
with our beliefs about life. But when I look back at my grandparents, my grandmother was 20 years old by the time she got married.
Yeah.
Her husband was probably about 24 years. And they had never met each other.
Yeah.
But the families knew each other. Actually, there's another grandmother who had been married in that same locality. And so when they told my grandmother that this is that there is a man who has come here, he wants to marry you and things like that, they were like, let's first investigate.
Yeah.
So there was an investigator.
Yeah.
And so it is different now. When we're in the city, it is really transactional. There is no investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Agre meets Judith on the street, and then they love each other,
And they move.
and then they move, and then they say they are setting a family. They have not done any background checks about if they come from families that are violent.
Yeah.
And so I want to take it to that level, that actually, because there is no investigation about your partner, now when you meet, you get this monster in your life who lied to you that actually they loved you. Love has never been a basis of marriage.
Yes.
Okay. It is actually an ingredient of marriage.
Yeah.
Okay. And the elders can bear me witness. But for me, looking at the setting that I have come from, or I come from in Bunyaruguru, love was never an ingredient of marriage, because the setting up of my grandmother and my grandfather, my maternal, it is the one I know, they didn't love each other. Yeah. But they were brought together and they loved each other.
For procreation.
They loved each other, and I got immersed in that love. But from the beginning, it was not about them. So the society even defined the purpose of marriage. Yeah. So when we get into this, and I want to take it back, even with our children and things like that. How do you identify that this person is actually likely to be violent? Yeah. I am happy that when we were here, a monkey came by. Yeah. We had one of the keepers here, and he was harassing the monkeys. Yeah. And we told him, what has the monkey done to you? Yeah. What has it eaten? Yeah. We have cats here. And this young man was actually harassing the cats. Yeah. And we're like, what the hell? What has the cat done to you? And so these are actually manifestations of violence. Yes. Okay? Whether they are families or where they are coming from. So as this man is in love with you, or this woman is in love with you, yeah, they are manifestations of violence. Look at the movies they watch. You know, if he takes you woman, if the man takes you for a movie, and you see that he likes this movie that is bloody, then you know that actually you're picking on a violent man. So do not be surprised if the same man beats you up. Yeah. So those are manifestations that we have tried to ignore. Yeah. And they are indeed the manifestations of violence. So eventually when you get married, you know what you took home. So, and the red flags are always
Alright.
there.
When you talk about that, the red flag,
Yes.
because when even people are dating,
Yes,
you find that a man has taken this woman out.
yes,
The same man,
yes,
just in a simple way,
yes,
gets the restaurant, and then the same man is commanding the waiters and the waitresses, and
Yes.
even abuses them.
yes.
Mhm. And when you're seated here as a
Yes.
wife,
Yes,
to me, that's a red signal. If
exactly.
somebody cannot respect people around you, the same man you're complaining of how violent they became to you,
Yes,
they did it right when you were dating.
exactly.
Just look at how they behave when
Mhm.
you go out, how they
Mhm.
call even the waitress or the
Yes.
waitresses,
Yes.
just for a small service.
Exactly.
Or even when there is a small mistake a waiter or a waitress
Yes,
has done,
yes, yes,
they spark off and they are very raging and they feel you're trouble.
yes.
But again, you look at his tolerance levels of a small thing that you've gone out.
Yes,
Even some women, when
Yes.
there is a small mistake,
yes,
women think that a man who comes out arrogantly
yes,
to defend of a
Yes.
small matter
yes.
is actually
A
the
very
strongest man,
protective
man.
He's a violent man.
Is a very, very violent man. Actually, you should know that that's a very violent man.
Yes.
A man who cannot be tolerant in front of you or on some of the small occasions.
Yes.
Just look at that. Those are red signals.
Mhm.
But again, guess what?
Yes.
Women think that they have the power to change men, to
Mhm.
change us.
Yes.
They say, no, I met this man who was very violent,
Yes.
but this time he's not violent.
Yes.
I mean, I will have the capacity to turn
Yes.
him into
Yes.
a great man.
Yes.
A woman out there, this is a red signal for a man you're dating. If a man can be as, in those small things,
Yes.
out there, how he treats people around,
Yes.
and then you're carrying the same man, and you
Mhm.
think because you're a beautiful woman, or you
Yes.
think that you're strong enough, you're going to change his life, it's very difficult. You cannot change some of these small things. Let's talk about that violence you're talking about.
Yes.
Where you come back as a man,
Yes.
and the woman decides to, to deny you the
Yes.
conjugal rights.
Yes.
Who is the most cause? Is it the woman or the man? Sometimes even you,
Yes.
the man, you're not taking care of your home.
Yes.
You're not providing in the house.
Yes.
You're not doing what you're supposed to do as a man in the house.
Yes.
The woman chooses to lock you out there because you want things for free.
Yes.
Is it real? The reality of this?
But who has prepared this man? Who has prepared this man for this marriage? You know?
Yeah.
We've sent our kids in boarding school
Yeah.
for 19 years.
Yeah.
Then they go to university and then maybe or college. And then the next thing they are 23, 24 years and they are married.
Yeah.
What do they know about? Who has prepared them?
Yeah.
So really we have, if we know the purpose of marriage and relationships, we've got to invest in as much as we invest in schools and education and all that, we need again to invest in relationships. If we want stable families, we've got to invest in that.
Yeah.
And nobody is investing in that.
Yeah.
We're investing in education, we're investing in business, we're investing in all that. And nobody is, by the way, all of us are probably born violent.
Yeah. As humans.
Yeah. But how do we tame those?
Yes.
So, but also, there are certain givens that people look at their families, they saw their mother being beaten, and then there is acceptance.
Yeah.
You see? But also, let me take it back a little. That by the way, I'm not surprised by women who marry men who are violent.
Yeah.
Why? Because usually they are validating certain things.
Yeah.
They have not known situations or spaces that are not violent.
Yeah.
So even when you give her love as a woman and tolerance, she takes it for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah. She feels this is not normal.
Yes.
It is not normal to be loved. It is not normal to be talked to sweetly.
Yeah.
So they will actually go for the violent. When we were in school, the bad boys took all the good girls.
Yes. Because women looked more secure
Y-
in the
in the
the hand,
bad in the hands of the
boys,
bad boys.
because they feel that they are secured and they'll be protected.
Yes.
Yes.
And I can tell you, actually, I'm not saying, and truth be told, I went to mixed school.
Yes.
St. Joseph's Nagarama is a mixed school, boys and girls. And you look at this rogue boy, he's having all the good girls.
All the good girls.
The good girls are running to her, and you're like,
Mhm.
do I have to be? But then, because you needed to be yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. So and some of those girls, you later realize they were looking for validation and things like that.
Yeah.
So we've got to set the ground good
Yeah.
in our families.
Yeah.
Be the good men
Yeah.
that our daughters can look up to,
Yeah.
so that when they eventually when they choosing their partners, they're like, I want to choose a man who is as good as my dad.
Yes.
And so before my daughters, I try to be the good
man.
The good man.
Yeah.
And probably admire the relationship their mother is having.
Yeah.
And then, so that when they are making choices,
Yes.
and I will be deliberate, and I've tried I'm already talking to my daughters that I will, and I can say it on camera.
Yeah.
And I am not shy to say it.
Yes.
I will have my time to choose for my daughters.
Yeah.
Because my grandmother had a very good marriage. It is that I wish for my daughters.
Yeah.
My grandmother was always telling me, oh, she was widowed, by the way, at a young age.
Yeah.
And I asked her why she didn't remarry.
Yeah.
And she said she wondered if she would get a loving man like my grandfather.
Yeah.
And she painted this picture,
Yeah,
of a Jesus-like grandfather,
yeah,
of me. And I actually think, whether it is true or not, she was trying to impute that in me.
yeah,
Be like your grandfather.
yeah, true.
Be home at this time. You know, she would always tell me, just like the way we've been painted about Jesus,
Yeah,
who we never saw. So my grandmother always told me about her good husband. And I always wanted to be like my grandfather, who I never saw. So it was deliberate, actually, when she was raising me. And as I said, every person has a little bit of violence.
yeah,
Even when I want to react, I'm like,
yeah,
how will my grandmother
yes,
see this? Even so, this man who you've gotten married to, whom does he fear?
yeah,
If there is no authority
right,
that this woman, that this man fears,
yeah,
you can be sure she will beat you, he will beat you, she will abuse you. That and from the setting of the traditional setting, there was a space for appeal.
yeah,
So who do you appeal to? Whom does your wife fear and appeal to? Like, whom do you report to?
yeah,
Whenever I get challenges with my wife, I say, I'm going to call your mother.
yeah,
Because she fears her mother.
the mother, yeah,
Yes, she fears her mother,
yeah,
you know? But there is that. And then I say, I will have a conversation with your dad.
yeah,
So who does your partner
yeah,
fear?
Yeah.
When you realize that she fears nobody,
Yeah.
you're finished.
You know, when you told me about your grandmother being widowed at a young age and she never remarried.
Yes.
I have my auntie who is alleged to be now 116 years.
Yes.
She lost her husband in the year 1979. Up to today, she never married again.
Yes.
She never remarried again.
Yes.
She chose not to. Since that time up to now. So there are people who choose not to remarry again because of probably getting the right partners out there, the real partners that they would compare with their past partners at the end of the day.
Yes.
Let's talk about the ego.
Yes.
Men, we are egoistic. We have the natural ego in us.
Yes.
Sometimes choosing to discuss matters with our partners becomes very difficult because we feel
Yeah.
they are going to make us less of women.
Mhm.
And again, you talked about where women are cared and taken care of,
Mhm.
and they take advantage of the men.
Yes.
Give us an example where your ego has also affected you as a man.
I come from a very maternalistic
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Um, and I've told my daughters,
Yeah.
I want them to be as heroic as their grandmother,
Yeah.
as their great grandmother.
Yeah.
I've again tried to show them how my mother fought her space for her space,
Yeah.
how my grandmother fought for her space, and I tell my daughters, if you can be like your grandmother or great grandmother, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, if you come to my home, the children know my space.
Yeah.
So I get surprised when I'm discussing with some people and they say, in this house, everyone sits wherever they feel like.
Yeah.
Hey, there is a space for a man.
Yeah.
There is a space for a woman.
Yes.
And once those spaces are not defined,
Yeah.
then the egos get affected.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
How would I go to my home and I say that my wife is denying me food?
Yeah.
There is actually a mismatch at that point. Because, and I go back to my Vunyaruguru setting,
Yeah.
and I have no apology that I'm modeling my family.
Mhm.
I try.
Yeah.
And I fail.
Yeah.
And I try again. And I fail. And I try again.
Yeah.
To the setting I grew up in. In Vunyaruguru, a man buys sauce.
Yeah.
Strictly. Okay? The woman will look for the millet.
Yeah.
What will be dined on at dinner.
Yeah.
Okay? The men somehow may not grow the millet.
Yeah.
But they provided the land
To grow the millet.
to grow the millet. They actually even cleared the land.
Yeah.
They cleared the land. The women came with their group and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the man who has provided the land, has cleared the land, has bought the fish or the sauce,
Yeah.
how do you deny him food?
Okay.
So create that structure.
Mhm.
And it is that, as I said, it is that I try and fail. I try again. I succeed.
Yeah.
The children know what I like.
Yeah.
They know. On days they even ask, today, Papa, you have not eaten kalo.
Yeah.
You have not eaten fish. So I have made my case clear.
Yeah.
Even when I am not present, my seat remains
Yes. Vacant.
vacant.
Yeah.
As I said, it is all that to set the ground.
Yeah.
And I am continuously doing that.
Doesn't that set you as a dictatorial man?
A family that has no dictatorship. Hey, there is no democracy in the family.
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah.
There is no you cannot democratize a family.
Yes.
There is no democracy.
There's no democracy.
There
in the
is no
family.
democracy in family settings.
Yeah.
There are certain rules, but there is leadership.
Yeah.
So there is leadership.
Leadership.
There
Proper
is
leadership.
proper leadership.
Yeah.
And in some instances, there may be
Dictatorship.
dictatorship.
For the good cause.
For the good cause.
Yeah.
We will be saying, okay, and what do they call it? Let them discuss. By the way, when the family is discussing, I speak last.
Yes.
I usually speak last. So they discuss all their views and all that and all that. And then they are like, but what is Papa's view?
Yeah.
And sometimes I agree with them.
Yes.
I
Sometimes
agree.
you say no as a man.
Then I sometimes I say, where are the resources for this? And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
So you cannot be having this discussion if you have not discussed the resources. So just to bring back some of these things, and of course, there's something you touched that it is transactional. It is once you set your marriage from the point of transaction,
Yeah, it will always be transactional.
it will be always be transactional. For your wife to give you some, you have to bring
something. Some
something. Then when it continues like that, then you know that you actually settle the rhythm.
But in reality,
Mm.
if you don't provide for your house
Mm.
and you expect this woman
Mm.
to be good in the other side,
You know,
talk to men.
yes,
You see, as much as we'd say, yes, men experience intimate violence,
yes,
I think men are the cause of that. Because every woman who is taken care of, she has got food in the family, the children go to school, everything is good. Would you think a woman would subject you to that? Yes.
I have seen manifestations of violence against men.
Even when men provide?
Even when men provide.
Yeah.
Now, I want to give an example that I had a girlfriend. And on the days at my workplace, they were providing us airtime. So my phone, before we came to this world of WhatsApp, so she'd always get my phone to say that she's actually making calls. Okay? And naive me, I would give my phone so that she makes calls.
And then she goes into your messages.
And then she gets into my messages, she gets into the people I have called, and then she's like, "Who is Pamela?" And I say, "Who is Pamela?"
And then you called the Pamela, or you sent her a message.
Oh, I sent her a message. Actually, that was it. Now that is today. It is what we call technologically facilitated intimate partner violence.
Yes.
They are using technology
where there is evidence.
Where there is and sometimes they could be my workmates, it could be my banker, it could be something like that, and then like, this Pamela, this Claire.
Yeah.
Are you sure this Claire is your workmate?
Yes.
And you're like, but I thought you were using my phone to make your phone calls.
Yes.
Not to scroll into my messages and to see who I called and things like that. We did it last. We did it
but
last.
Imagine she found a message really.
Yes.
Going to Pamela. And that message was you expressing interest in Pamela.
Interest in
Would you expect her to remain the same?
No. But aren't you violating my space? As a woman.
That's another topic we have to discuss. Not giving somebody their privacy.
Give them their privacy.
Yes.
Let them confess to you officially that probably they have another partner or they are having something like that. Probably it is something that we will discuss at a future time. The truth about men being polygamous in nature, in their animalistic setting.
Yes.
If you did not treat your wife well, you did not treat your children well, when you're 60, you're 70, and your energy levels have gone down, they will come on you, and you will experience the utmost kind of violence that even the Katyushas, the bombs that we see in Ukraine and Gaza will come to you. Because you were violent to those children, you were violent to that woman, they are waiting for you.
Yes.
When you see some men being abandoned, they actually contributed to that. Because when you were beating their mother, the children were watching you.
Yeah.
So do not now complain about intimate violence.
But I think naturally men, we abandon. I relate the life of men. When you look at this animal, I studied a lot about the buffaloes. When buffaloes get older, actually they are kicked out of
the herd.
If you go to Kazinga Channel, I've witnessed this because this is reality. When you go to Kazinga Channel, at the bank of the river, you see there are many buffaloes, the old buffaloes, they go through and they go down and access the bank of the river. And they keep there until when they die, most of them. They are kicked out of the herd. And I think it's it's natural for
Natural.
men
Yes.
to be abandoned, because I've seen so many men,
Yes.
in the end, at their
Yes.
old age, they remain alone.
Yes.
And I've already, myself, I've chosen to prepare for that.
Yes.
And it's reality in life.
Yes. Yes.
The same woman would abandon you,
Mm.
the same children would abandon you.
Mm.
It's the reality of men.
Yes.
And I think men out there, we have to prepare for this.
Exactly. Yes.
That men, no matter how good you become,
yes.
at the end of the day,
you will be abandoned. Do whatever it takes. If the children come to you, create your space as a man. Create your space that the children will come to you.
yes,
Create that space.
if they do that.
If they
I've seen so
do
many
that.
families.
Yes.
The children will come.
Yes.
Let's say
Mhm.
they will give their mother 100,000
Mhm.
Uganda shillings.
Yes.
And when they go to their papa, they will say, Papa, I am not doing well.
Yes.
Things are very bad. They will cry in front of you.
Yes.
And they give you 10K if they
Yes.
have tried.
Yes.
But their mother will have 100,000.
Yes.
And for you as a man,
Yes.
even when you have sponsored all their life,
Yes.
they will always give you their last pocket change
Yes.
if they have tried that.
And most of those who do that are sons, by the way.
Yes, definitely.
So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes people have asked me, but Agra, do you have sons? Yes, I have. I have sons, but I put my energy.
That's why I think mothers, and that's why I think mothers
Yes.
always fight for their sons, because
Yes.
they know when they marry,
Yes.
somebody is going to take up their
Yes,
space,
yes.
and they know it will happen automatically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is a cycle of life.
It's a cycle of life.
It is a cycle of life. You man out there and myself,
Yeah.
I have got to create space.
Yeah.
Even when you're educating your children, your sons and whatnot,
Yeah.
Create space. As a man, eventually, leave something for
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
so that there is continuity.
Yes.
And please do not treat your children as banks. They are not your insurance.
Yes.
So the old men who are experiencing violence,
Yeah.
especially economic violence, because the children will always take care of their mothers.
Yeah.
Please insure yourself,
Yes.
so that you do not experience that kind of violence, because there is economic violence.
Yeah.
There is even a relationship
Violence. Yeah,
violence.
true. Yes,
As
true.
a man, you're being abandoned. But also maybe the quick one that I can touch on another as is the conjugal
The conjugal.
violence.
Yeah.
When you say, oh, somebody is having prostate cancer or prostate is as a result of lack of sex.
Really?
Yes.
So the ladies out there, if you don't want your husbands to suffer from prostate cancer, it's been proven that lack of sex causes
Prostate
cancer.
So when you see this man, and it usually comes maybe at the age of 60 and above.
No,
and things
even
like
now
that.
at the age of 40s, they are suffering
Yes.
from
So
cancer.
those ones have not had enough sex.
Yes. So we should
So
have more
ensure that you have enough.
sex.
Yes. Oh,
How many times in a week?
oh, the monkeys.
Yes.
I have no science, but at least, well, the readings that I have seen are that it has to be about 27 times.
In a year or in a month?
In a month, that a man must ejaculate about 27 times.
27 times in a month. That
In
is
a
every day you must have sex.
You must have maybe not maybe in 3 days. So it has. So if you look at it, it has to be about 21 times.
21 times. Yes.
And probably it tallies with the monthly.
Yes, of
So,
the ladies.
so sometimes some of these things are designed by the master designer.
Yes.
That after. So, but also it even comes back to usually the women when they're interested in coitus. It is the window is about 10 days.
Yes.
And probably that is where others have argued that if you're with woman X now, it is time to be with woman Y.
Yeah.
By the way, and without displeasing some people,
Yes.
I do not know my Muslim friends or Muslim families, Muslim men that are suffering from prostate cancer.
There are no Muslim men suffering from prostate cancer? Few of them.
Few of them. But the ones I know are usually of my religion, Catholics.
Yeah.
and Protestants
Uh-huh.
that insist on monogamy. A
Yeah.
man who is suffering, who has had prostate cancer, has had one wife.
Has had one wife. So,
So,
so guys, it's your choice at the end of the day whether
but
to marry one wife,
I'm not
two,
saying
three.
that you must
Yeah.
have more than one wife,
Yeah.
but you must have enough coitus.
Enough coitus. He says you must have enough coitus.
Uh, and and therefore, but how do you get enough coitus? It is when you have set up a good
A
relationship,
good relationship.
With your wife
Yeah.
and with your children, and you have a whole supportive system.
Yeah.
The other thing that you talked about was about the mentor.
Yes.
All these things, deny of food and all that. Yes, the men experience mentor. You come back home, she's quarreling, she's everything, she's,
Yeah.
hey, men, by the way, have never seen their wives beautiful.
Yes. Every time they're always either she's quarreling, she's complaining,
and all
name
that. And in the Kampala, where all of you are working, she's dressed for work and not dressed for you.
Okay. When you talk about dressed for work and not dressed for you, we shall have to identify, to really, separate,
Yes.
the dressing code,
Yes.
and see whether it is important at the end of the day.
No, I can tell you that some men or women have never seen. The man is very smart in his suit. Well, I'm not a man of suits.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I put on a suit.
Yeah.
He's dressed for the occasion.
Yeah.
But when is he dressed for you? When have you seen your woman smart?
Yes.
Eh?
Maybe you are
It
the
is all
cause.
the
Maybe you are the one who is not buying her the smart clothes you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, if you don't fund this smartness
Yes,
of your wife, how do you
Yeah.
expect her to be smart?
for you.
For
you. But at least create the time to see her. Create the time to see her smart.
To see her smart.
Yes.
But you see, it takes also money for your wife or your partner or your girlfriend to be smart. And then you're not investing in this smartness of hers.
As I mentioned,
Yeah.
if we do not want to experience the intimate partner violence,
Yes.
it takes a lot of investment.
A lot of investment.
It
in the
takes a
man.
lot
As
of
we
hard
speak,
work.
Yes.
Yes.
So we don't have to blame the women as per se,
Yes.
but we have to take responsibility as men as
Yes.
well, that we contribute to
Yes.
this intimate
Intimate
violence.
partner
Now,
before that,
Yeah.
work or workplaces and
Yeah.
workspaces
Yeah.
have actually contributed to intimate partner violence.
Mhm.
The woman is working in Jinja,
Yeah.
you're working in Kabale.
Yeah.
There is a sense of abandonment.
Yeah.
Where is the family
Yes.
in all this? And when you meet, you're meeting to talk about work, to talk about projects,
Complain.
and not yourselves.
Yes.
So we've got to be deliberate. And
When you talk about working in different places,
yes,
there's a lot of violence. But even when the man and husband, the husband and wife,
yes,
they all work in the same location,
yes,
same places,
yes,
but live in the same house
yes,
24/7,
yes.
and the violence is too much.
I haven't said that living in the same space actually will not take away the violence.
Yeah.
And actually living in the same space without leaving space for one another
Yes.
is actually good ground for violence.
For violence.
We need to create space for each other.
Yeah, so that we are
Even when we are living in the same space,
Yes.
let her have a girl day out.
Yeah. Release
Okay.
her. If she wants to go out with the girlfriend, it's
Let
okay.
her.
She wants to go for her parties,
Let
let's go.
her.
Yes.
She knows trust that she will come back.
Yeah.
Trust that, just like birds,
Yes.
they will go and scavenge, but they know where their nest
So you
is.
don't become a bodyguard.
No,
your wife.
we have also become contributors to this.
Yeah.
I have always told my partner, do not ask me where I am.
Yeah.
I am an adult.
Yeah.
I know where I am.
Yeah.
Those are the questions that my grandmother, my mother asked me. Don't be my grandmother, don't be my mother.
And also you, the husband,
Yes.
don't be the father, the mother of your
No,
wife.
be a husband, don't be her father.
Yeah.
You want to, the certain things I tell my daughters,
Yeah.
where are you, with who, and all that.
Yes.
I will ask those
Because
questions.
you are the father.
I am their father.
Yeah.
Do not be a father to your wife.
And do not be your father or mother to your husband.
Do not be a mother to your husband.
Yes. Because that brings in a lot of cohesion.
Yeah. Be a wife and do the roles of a wife.
Yeah.
Don't be a mother.
Yeah.
I will repeat that. Don't be a mother to your husband.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
do not replace her mother.
Yes.
Do not replace his mother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those would be grounds for conflict.
Yeah.
If she's out and um, really, let
Give her
me
space.
leave it at that. Give her the space.
Give her-
If
Respectfully, as a mature
as a
woman.
mature woman,
Yes.
as a mature man. My advocacy in this, let's create harmony.
Yeah.
I know it is not easy.
Yes.
I am alive to the fact that it is not easy,
It's not easy.
but it is hard work.
Yeah.
It takes hard work.
And maturity as well.
And maturity. I do not know how many times my grandmother tried to paint a picture of her wonderful husband.
Yeah.
Just as the Christians and we're being told to be a Jesus of some sort, the preaching hasn't stopped.
Yes.
So the preaching about harmony in families cannot be an event. It is a continuous process.
Yeah.
Recently, I went to church and Father Benedict, I thank you very much.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
And he spoke in Runyaruguru. I
Yes.
go for a service that in Kampala, by the way.
Yes.
The service that is conducted, or mass, that
Yes.
is service or mass,
Yeah.
depending, that is conducted in my local language.
Yeah.
In Kampala.
Yeah.
It is done once a month.
Yeah.
I go to that mass,
Yeah.
and the priests are from our home place.
Yeah.
And he said, Urukundo arowe kora.
Yeah. Is when love diminishes.
Diminishes.
Yeah.
But do otajirinda ekagaga.
Yes.
Do not let your marriage or your relationship to go bad, just like food. And he says, keep warming it up.
Yeah.
Ogumeno jitagacha.
Yes.
Omurinyaruguru is
Yeah.
ogumeno jitagacha.
Yes.
Do certain things to keep it
More
warm.
Yeah.
Keep it warm. And therefore, it takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah, true.
Father Benedict Virunji, nkakakwatako, I got that I have got to keep my marriage and my relationship.
It's an effort.
It's an effort that I have got to keep working on it.
Yeah.
One of my uncles is called Atayomeze.
Yeah.
And it is a proverbial.
Yeah.
Atayomeze tawi karanga.
Yeah.
Atayomeze tawi karanga. That if you, just like if your millet, if you're roasting millet, until it is dry, you will continue working on it.
Definitely.
And therefore, these relationships, these marriages is like a wheel. It is continuous work.
And that's life.
And that is the chain of life. And therefore, we've got to continue working on that. And probably we will eventually have no intimate partner violence. But it takes effort, it takes hard work, it takes gumano tagacha.
Let's talk about what are those problems that have come out of the intimate partner violence to the men, because women need to hear this properly.
Yeah.
What are those challenges that have permanently brought this problem?
So if the eventualities are broken homes.
Yeah.
Divorce will happen.
Yeah.
And I am pro-divorce.
Yeah.
I am not shy about this. I know my Catholic friends and my priest will say, but yes, if it has run out of hand, leave that relationship.
Yes.
Still, when we are giving away our daughters, let's be deliberate.
Yeah. When
time for my daughters comes to be given away, I will be very clear. I will even dictate the speeches. If your marriage has not been easy, who told you that my daughter's marriage will not be easy?
Yeah.
So do not tell her that marriage is not easy.
Yeah.
I will dictate the speeches.
Yes.
Then also when we are giving her away, I will not allow their aunties to say, your space, your bed is out. No.
Yeah.
their space, I am trying to create space for my daughters and my sons.
Yeah.
By the way, that is my power again.
Yeah.
So that they know that they have space in my home,
Yeah.
so they will not abandon me.
Yeah.
So as a man, I'm also creating
You're
that
trying to secure yourself in
s-
your old age.
in my old age,
Yeah.
so that I create space for, so all of my sons and my daughters will
Yeah.
know that they have space in
Yeah.
their father's
Yeah.
house
Yeah.
or home.
Yeah.
And so they will always, when they feel that they are experiencing change, they can come and rest.
Yeah. True.
So, but when you witness Kuhinjira
Yeah.
in Ankole, it is actually, in some spaces, it is violent.
Yeah.
You're saying, your bed is out. We've taken everything out of you, out with you.
Yes.
Then the man will go and beat you.
Yeah.
After all, at your home,
They have abandoned you.
they've told you,
You have gone away. You've
gone
been
away,
married,
and
so you have no
you
space
have
here.
no space.
Yeah.
So I'm telling my daughters, you have your space here.
Yeah.
Go and get married, but
But
your
you have the
space,
space
the
here.
space is here.
Yeah.
So those things that we the tongue blesses, but it also is violent. So let's say
Yeah.
nice things
Yeah.
that will not breed intimate partner violence. At the same time, as I said, intimate partner violence leads to abandonment, leads to divorce,
Yeah.
mental health,
Yeah.
or ill health.
Yeah.
You see all these things that you're seeing on men are a result of intimate partner violence. The diseases you're seeing
Yeah.
are a result of intimate partner violence. Let's go back again to our traditions. How were the settings? How was our society set?
Yes.
You know, to see that we go back to enhanced family.
Yeah.
Just as I said, my grandmother didn't have it as a bed of roses
Yeah.
altogether. There are a few things that she would throw in, and I would say, oh, yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
But let's pick out the good and run away with the good.
Yeah.
But intimate partner violence is real.
Yeah.
One of those that you wanted to mention is you want it, but she's like, can we have it later? Tomorrow, another day.
Dictates.
So 1 day, 3 days, 4 days. Sometimes one of my colleagues who is a gender specialist,
Yes.
when we would go out in the field, she would tell me, Agre, I know when I meet a family
Yeah.
that is experiencing conjugal denial.
Yeah. You can easily tell.
You can,
From
and
the
even
woman's side or from the man's side?
all the sides.
Yeah.
And she gave me all the tricks, and I can quickly tell
Yeah.
that actually you had a good night and you didn't. I can tell now.
Yeah.
I can meet a colleague, a friend who had a very good coitus last night,
Yeah.
who had a good time,
Yeah.
because she gave me all the tricks.
Yes.
And she was like, Agre, is everything okay with you?
Yeah.
Because we were sharing an office. Rosemary Rukoro, wherever you are, I know you are in the US.
Yeah.
You gave me all the tricks. she would tell me,
Yeah.
how was your night? And I would say, it was okay. She'd
And you
say,
say, no, it wasn't.
she would tell me,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
The mood is bad. And then she would tell me, you need to go and have coffee.
Yeah.
So I can now tell
Yeah.
people, and please, colleagues, don't abandon me. Say agree. No, say,
Yeah.
if we've had, so we can have conversations
Yeah, true.
now. We can
Yeah.
now have conversations
Yeah.
about some of these things, so that
Yeah.
we can have good relationships.
So that men can also know what is going through.
What they are going through. I am for harmony.
Yeah. Not for any violence.
Not for any violence.
Yeah.
But once it has run out, and let's not kill each other,
And
just separate.
Yeah. Separate and divorce.
Separate and divorce.
And have your pace and,
and
let
and
people rediscover themselves.
rediscover themselves.
Because at some point you may find that you're suffering here and yet you've not been given a chance to rediscover
Yes.
yourself. Now, in our closing shots,
Yes.
look into the camera and tell the man who is going through the intimate partner violence.
What
Speak
has
to the
been
man.
what has been your contribution?
Yes.
Look at it and see the gaps.
Mhm.
If you're saying your wife is cheating,
Yes.
where was the gap?
Yeah.
My mother-in-law,
Yeah.
oh, now we say my mother-in-law,
Yeah.
tells me, and I would say it in Runyankore,
Yeah.
"Tuzukuza mwibiri."
Yes.
So there was a gap, and somebody is exploited that gap.
Yeah.
And your wife is looking for intimacy somewhere else. You're not giving it to her.
Yeah.
But also, if it is work that has put you aside, find space that when she comes, don't bring her projects and tell her about projects and what not and
Yeah.
talk
The unfinished projects.
the unfinished projects, the unfinished children. It is about you.
Yeah.
Let's make our rooms, our bedrooms, sanctuaries.
Yeah.
By the way, it was an honor for me to go to my parents' bedroom.
Yeah.
Are you sure our bedrooms are still sanctuaries?
Yeah.
Or it is in and out,
In and out fights.
Let's make it a sanctuary. From the Catholic Church, only the chosen go to the sanctuary.
Yes.
So let's make our bedrooms a sanctuary.
Yeah.
And
peace.
and honor it and
Yes.
all that. Don't go to the bedroom and quarrel from there. Quarrel from some space, but go and that is a place for intimacy, not a place for wars.
Yeah.
Don't fight for complaints and all that and all that.
Yeah.
And begin to remind the man how he has not provided and what not. He will not perform.
Yes. But you should also provide.
Yes, provide. Yeah. Provide, of course, but also
you
understand.
Ask for the conjugal rights on an empty stomach.
Yes, yes. And they were specific.
Yeah.
Again, my traditions in Bunyarugul, they were specifics. Yeah. What food you eat at night.
Yes.
You the men, and don't eat beans. They have those would be areas of.
We'll come back here and talk about the foods men should eat. And what men should not do, especially those men who like eating at night.
Yes,
I know they have a lot of challenges.
Yes.
You sit on a dining at 9 p.m. and you're eating, and they're even asking for more food.
Yes.
So the men should also take that. We will discuss that.
We will discuss
and then
that
also we also need to bring men out of ignorance.
Yes.
There's a lot of ignorance with men.
Yes.
And we also think that being a man, you know everything.
No.
So we shall discuss that topic, and you tell the men on how to take care of themselves. Isn't it?
I am still on a journey.
Yes.
I do not want to say I'm still on a journey.
Yeah.
I used to also like my food in the night and eat it and all that and all that. But I also was like, how was it done? But also while that is happening, let's create spaces and talk about these issues.
Yes.
The women have created space.
And the men,
we have not. Let's create space and talk about these things of intimate partner violence.
Yeah.
It is from there that we have broken homes and broken everything.
Yeah.
Remember, a family is the smallest unit of the state.
Yeah.
And therefore, if we want to build a good country and a good people, let's begin from our bedrooms.
Yeah.
The family.
Yes.
You will see it. By the way, let me mention this.
Yeah.
So now that I am near the age of my father when he was at his time.
Yeah.
When our dad had a good time.
Yeah.
Now I'm discovering.
Yes. Which good time? Be specific so that people can understand.
When they had a good time, when he had a good time with our mother.
Yes.
In their sanctuary.
Yeah.
That is when our sins would be forgiven.
Yes. Because he had a good time last night.
Last night, he would be. They told me, you. But now I have forgiven you.
Yeah.
So they would actually get the forgiveness.
Yeah.
And then actually our mothers would not go anywhere.
Yeah.
They are not rushing over to go to the garden. I had many mothers.
Yeah.
So our mothers would keep around, and they even breakfast in Tagata, Yabanyaruguru. Breakfast that is warm, and then actually he would that's when he's walking around. they would even have very good food.
Yes.
That is when he tells the man on those days we had lots of goats. That's when he would say, my brother is visiting. You boys go and get a goat.
And cut it.
And cut it. He has had a good time. So what would suffer? Chicken, goat, and then for us would have the balls of the goat. So when those are the ripple effects of a good time. In the sanctuary, the children even benefit.
The whole family benefits.
The whole family
so it's an important aspect
in the family that we as children would. So I'm also trying to see, maybe that is when I say in my home that we don't eat bread. So on those days, that is when I say, let the children have bread. That's when my sons and daughters, I hope
when they see good bread in the house,
when they see good bread,
our father got a good time.
So that's when I allow milk, I allow bread.
Everything in the house, they know that Papa is now.
So that's when their sins are forgiven.
So when you're in the family and you see your sins have been forgiven, just know that Papa in your house got a good time. We'll discuss that another time. So thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure hosting Agrey. And I'm sure maybe there are points he has left there. If you feel there's a point you want him to discuss next time, write down in the comments. We'll see the point and we'll pick it up and we'll have to put it and discuss. We're always open. And whatever we discuss on this program, it's the reality of life. If you're a man going out of the, going through that virus, speak to your wife. And if you're the wife taking the man through all this, just know that it is affecting the whole family. And we need to up our game at the end of the day. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having Agrey. It's been a pleasure. And thank you so much for allowing your busy time to discuss this important aspect of life.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure men will like our topic and the ladies out there will like us. So thank you so much.
We're no angels.
We're no angels at the end of the day. We are trying to bring out the reality of life. So thank you so much, guys. See you in our next podcast. Thank you.